A single phone call that rewrote a presidency. The phone rang once, then again, and in that pause, an entire presidency shifted direction. Some of the most powerful moments in the White House never happen in rooms. They happen on lines, unrecorded, unseen. A phone call can bypass layers of protocol in seconds. Today, when communication is constant and documented, it's easy to forget how decisive a private call can be, especially when it reaches a president at exactly the wrong moment. This call did not arrive during a crisis briefing or a scheduled update. It came unexpectedly, breaking the rhythm of a carefully managed day. The voice on the other end carried familiarity, not authority. That familiarity mattered. It lowered defenses. It created space for honesty that official channels rarely allow. The message was simple, but unsettling. It reframed the situation the president believed was under control, not with new data, but with perspective. It suggested that what looked like progress might actually be exposure, that decisions already made were being interpreted in ways no briefing had captured. As the call continued, certainty began to erode. The president asked questions not on the schedule, questions that had not been rehearsed. The conversation moved quickly, driven by intuition rather than confirmation. And by the time it ended, the presidency carried a new weight. What made this call dangerous was its intimacy. No advisors present, no notes taken, just trust. The kind of trust that accelerates decisions because it feels personal rather than political. Within minutes, the president's posture shifted. Meetings that followed took on a different tone. Priorities subtly reordered. Language changed. No one outside the call understood why. They only felt the result. The phone was set down. The line went quiet. But the presidency was no longer the same, because one unfiltered conversation had slipped past the machinery of governance and altered its course before anyone could slow it down. After the call ended, its influence spread without explanation. The president entered the next meeting carrying information no one else had heard. Not facts, but framing. And framing, once changed, alters everything that follows. Advisors noticed a shift immediately. Questions were sharper. Assumptions were challenged. What had felt settled now felt provisional. The call had not delivered orders, but it had introduced doubt powerful enough to reorder priorities. Because the source was private, it could not be cited. The president could not say, "Someone called and said this." Instead, the insight had to be translated into general concern. That translation diluted clarity while preserving urgency. This created tension. Advisors struggled to respond to a direction they couldn't fully see. They adjusted plans without understanding why. Momentum shifted without narrative. The system moved, but it moved blind. The danger of private influence is not malice. It is asymmetry. When one person holds context others lack, coordination suffers. Decisions accelerate before alignment catches up. And in environments built on shared understanding, that gap matters. As the day progressed, the call's impact deepened. Language and drafts changed. Options previously favored law support. Alternatives resurfaced unexpectedly. To observers, it looked like careful reconsideration. In reality, it was reaction to unseen input. Some advisors attempted to slow the pace, sensing instability. Others followed the president's lead, trusting judgment over process. The administration divided subtly, not by ideology, but by access. The phone call had done what no memo could. It bypassed safeguards. It compressed complexity into instinct. And once instinct drives direction, reversing course becomes emotionally difficult. What no one could yet see was how lasting that moment would be. Because once a presidency pivots on private information, every subsequent decision carries its shadow. As days passed, the consequences of the call became harder to isolate. What had begun as a subtle pivot hardened into strategy. Decisions aligned with a logic no one could fully articulate. Yet everyone was expected to support. The conflict emerged quietly. Advisors compared notes and sensed a missing piece. They debated outcomes without sharing premises. Meetings felt misaligned, as if everyone was solving a different version of the same problem. Coordination slowed, even as urgency increased. The president, meanwhile, trusted the call's insight more with time. Familiarity breeds confidence. The voice on the other end had been right before. That history mattered. It reinforced belief even in the absence of verification. And belief, once internalized, resists contradiction. This created an emotional divide. Some advisors pushed for validation, urging caution until evidence aligned. Others deferred, believing intuition at the top should guide action. The administration did not fracture publicly, but internally, strain accumulated. The deeper tension was structural. Systems are designed to absorb information collectively. Private influence concentrates it. When concentration replaces distribution, resilience weakens. One perspective begins to outweigh many, not because it is stronger, but because it arrived first. As policies rolled out, their origins remained opaque. Critics struggled to understand the rationale. Supporters defended outcomes rather than logic. The call itself faded into the background, but its framing persisted. This is how unseen moments gain permanence. They shape decisions indirectly, embedding themselves into action while avoiding scrutiny. And once embedded, they become difficult to remove without unraveling everything built on top of them. The presidency had been rewritten not by public mandate, but by a private exchange. And the cost of that rewrite would only become clear when outcomes demanded accountability. The climax of this story is not the phone call itself. It is the moment its influence became irreversible. By the time outcomes surfaced, the call no longer mattered as an event. It mattered as a lens. Decisions were interpreted through it. Risks were justified by it. Doubts were dismissed because of it. The presidency had quietly reorganized around a conversation no one else could examine. The resolution is uneasy. Private insight can be valuable. Intuition can be accurate. But when power pivots without shared context, trust erodes beneath the surface. What feels decisive at the top can feel arbitrary below. This story is not about manipulation. It is about imbalance. One voice gaining disproportionate weight because it arrived outside process, because it felt personal, because it bypassed friction designed to protect judgment from haste. Modern leadership celebrates access and responsiveness, but access without accountability carries a cost. When unseen influence shapes visible outcomes, explanations grow thinner. And when explanations thin, confidence follows. The single phone call did not ruin a presidency. It rewrote it quietly, line by line, decision by decision, until the original direction became unrecognizable. And that raises a final question. How many turning points in history began not with declarations, but with conversations no one else ever heard? Sometimes the smallest shift in perspective becomes the beginning of a new future. A single